Well, I will tell you that Pam Bondi has a track record. She's a very serious person. And I think she's seen the weaponization. Everybody's seen this weaponization of the Justice Department.
Please keep Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s name out of your mouths.
And so for him to just say, let's go to Mars because it's the next thing to do, what does that venture capitalist meeting look like? That's a 5-minute meeting, and it doesn't happen.
So buttons. Real quick, before I show you these truly mind-blowingly insane clips, I just realized I've been doing this for about 8 years now and wanted to do something a little bit different for Sundays. So today, I'm going to show you what I think are the top 3 examples of political madness engulfing America. You won't believe it until you see it for yourself, so enjoy. Number 3, Eric Schmidt educates NBC's Kristen Welker on Biden's weaponized DOJ.
Bondi has vowed to, quote, investigate the investigators, to prosecute the prosecutors. A different tone than you have struck, Senator. You've said that the DOJ should be, quote, going back to fighting crime and not settling political scores. How do you square those two different views?
Well, I will tell you that Pam Bondi has a track record. She's a very serious person. And I think she's seen the weaponization. Everybody's seen this weaponization of the Justice Department over the last 4 years. It really is a tragedy for a once respected agency that has gone after Catholics. It's gone after parents who showed up to school board meetings under the auspices of the Patriot Act. This is in the United States of America. And then clearly weaponized that department, Joe Biden did, and Merrick Garland, to go after their chief political opponent. And I'll tell you, Kristen, the arc of that story is really terrifying if you care about the Republic. After the midterms, Joe Biden said that there was no way President Trump would ever be back in the White House. After that speech, these zombie cases were resurrected. The number 3 person from DOJ went to New York, and you had the Alvin Bragg case. The number 2 prosecutor in Atlanta went to the White House and coordinated. You saw all these cases resurrected. They all fell apart under the weight of the law. And so I do think there needs to be accountability. I think that getting it back to crime fighting is important, but there has to be accountability for these kinds of abuses.
Okay, what specifically does accountability look like, Senator? Are you suggesting you want to see Special Counsel Jack Smith, Attorney General Merrick Garland prosecuted? Is that what you are implying?
Well, no, I think accountability means first and foremost, the people involved in this should be fired immediately. And anybody part of this, this effort to keep President Trump off the ballot and to throw him in jail for the rest of his life because they didn't like his politics and to continue to cast him as a quote-unquote threat to democracy was wrong. And so we'll see where that goes. But I just don't think in this country, unless we want to be a banana republic, I don't want to see that happen. You can't have the Justice Department abused in this way. Pam Bondi is a smart, capable, tough person who I think is going to restore respect in that department.
So she has your vote, Senator?
Oh, absolutely. I intend to help Pam Bondi get the votes. I know her well. She's a friend. I've come to respect Pam Bondi. She was a great attorney general in Florida. This is a home run by President Trump.
Okay, a couple quick points. Did you notice something very different about that exchange from what we've seen up to this point? Welker did not respond with, there's no evidence that Joe Biden's DOJ targeted his political opponents, because that idea is absurd on its face. And not just for the reasons that Schmidt laid out there, but because Joe Biden himself was bragging, to roaring applause no less, about how much prison time his main opponent's supporters had been given. Vast majority of for peacefully protesting on Capitol grounds. Number 2 this week, Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Maher mock Elon Musk for the goal of wanting to colonize Mars.
How soon could Elon Musk realistically send humans to Mars? Another good question.
I have strong views on that. My read of the history of space exploration is such that we do big, expensive things only when it's geopolitically expedient. And so for him to just say, let's go to Mars because it's the next thing to do, what does that venture capitalist meeting look like? It's a 5-minute meeting, and it doesn't happen.
So we agree. I'm not for going to Mars.
Okay, wait.
The point is, you can't live on Mars. I've said this so many times. How badly would we have to rat fuck Earth?
Yeah.
Before it was worse than a place that's 200 below zero.
Yeah.
With no air.
I'm with you.
No water. With 6 months.
Preach it.
What an asshole.
Yeah, it's just pathetic watching this clearly ideologically captured clown talk about how there's no physical difference between men and women in one breath, and then he's making fun of one of the most proven genius entrepreneurs on this planet who's done things no one else has ever done, including NASA. Which, by the way, Tyson also bizarrely denies, saying Elon hasn't done anything they haven't done, which he clearly has. If Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Maher were being honest here, they would admit that it's only since Elon Musk and a few other entrepreneurs came around that we've seen real advancement in human space exploration. It's just logical, and something I even realized as a child, that if we want humanity to survive, we've got to spread out. Having everyone on Earth is obviously dangerous, but increasingly I wonder if the left and Democrats even care about that, since they seem completely unconcerned with the growing possibility of nuclear war. And number one, the most insane clip of this week is Democrat Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley thinking that she can racially bully a veteran, Congressman Clay Higgins.
And I'd also just like to take a personal note of privilege to say, please keep Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s name out of your mouths. Yes. Your perversion of his words and his mission, when his children have asked you to stop invoking his name and perverting his work when he was a proud and unapologetic black man fighting for equality for black Americans and all marginalized people. So you all are entitled to your opinions, but not a denial of the facts. But I'm not surprised that you would deny American history. A colleague across the aisle invoked the phrase of, we must do everything to stop government-sponsored oppression. Well, I've just enumerated numerous examples, which is exactly why we have legislation and an executive order to reverse this harm. And that is why I'm committed to opposing this bill and urge my colleagues to do the same.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
I thank my colleague, and I appreciate my Democrat colleague for exemplifying exactly the kind of oppression of freedoms that we're referencing. How about we'll quote whoever we want to quote? How about that's my First Amendment right? That's exactly the kind of baked-in oppression. Like, how dare a white Republican quote Martin Luther King? We actually had a congressman say that just now in this committee. Well, thank you, good lady, for once again exemplifying the type of oppression that we stand against. You know I'm right. You know I'm right.
Order. Mr. Higgins has the floor.
And we will quote who we please to quote.
A disgrace.
And we will continue to speak freely because now I'm a veteran. That's the country that I serve. That's a Constitution I swore an allegiance to. And that oath has no expiration date. I will fight for it with my last life's blood. For my right to speak freely and yours, good lady. You will never hear me saying, how dare you quote anybody you please to quote. And that exemplifies, America, precisely the type of institutional oppression that my colleague, Mr. Cloud's bill, for which I'm an original co-sponsor, hopes to push back against.
Oh my God, is she one of those dopes who shaved their head because Donald Trump won? By the way, have you noticed a trend with black women in the Democrat Party? They all seem like unhinged racists.
You are in direct violation of Penal Code 113, Section 9.
With apparently no fear at all about expressing these openly hostile, racist, anti-American views in the hallowed halls of Congress, which they allegedly revere so much. Can you even begin to imagine the outrage if Clay Higgins told a black woman in Congress to keep words out of her mouth because those words belong to white people? He'd be doomed to wander the wastelands until his death. What do you all think? Let me know what you think about the clips and this format for Sundays in the comments. And if you're still here, you might as well go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I post on a regular basis, both short and long form, so keep checking back for more. Thanks a lot.